Hi, it's Brian Timoney here, coming to you live from the beach in Spain. Now, listen, the reason I'm making this video here is it couldn't wait any longer. There's been such a furore in the press over the things I'm going to talk about today that I had to basically do it now. Now, what am I going to talk about? I'm going to talk about Mads Mikkelsen, who's basically come out in the press and said method acting is bullshit. And I'm going to talk about Jared Leto, who basically lives, breathes and eats method acting. So we're going to have a cage fight. We're going to have a cage fight between Jared Leto and Mads Mikkelsen. Who's going to win? Well, let's see. Now, Mads. Let's talk about Mads. Now, good actor. I like Mads' work, but he knows absolutely nothing about method acting. Clear from his comments. Basically, he said he doesn't agree with the preparation. He, in general, thinks it's bullshit. He thinks that, you know, what you're going to do if you're going to play a serial killer, you're going to become a serial killer or study serial killers for 2 years. He also said a really bizarre thing, which was that he said, well, what if you do your whole method thing and the film's crap? He said, you know, what have you achieved? He said, you know, have you been very clever there by doing your whole method thing? Look, this highlights to me that the guy does not understand the method and he doesn't understand the ethos, which is regardless of whether the film is going to be any good or not, we're going to do the full method thing because we're going to do the right job, a proper job on it, regardless of, you know, of what kind of film it ends up being in the end, right? You can only do your work. He said, so at the end of the day, that's the way it's got to be. Now, what else did he say? Well, he said a few other things that were a bit incredulous about method acting. He said, you know, staying in character the whole time, why do you do it? You don't need to do it. Well, it's never been laid down in method acting that you do need to stay in character the whole time, for sure. He said, but here's the other thing. Jared Leto, yeah, let's talk about Jared now, which in his new film Morbius, plays a character who has a condition, a blood condition that weakens him to the point where he needs to use crutches. So the character uses crutches a lot. And what he did was that on set, going to do the shots, he used the crutches. When the shot is finished, he wants to use the crutches to go to the toilet, etc. And that was fine. The director said, okay, that's what you want to do? Go ahead, do it. But the only problem was it was taking him so long to get to the toilet and back on crutches that they said, let's get him a wheelchair. Right. And of course, there's nothing wrong with Jared Leto. He could just get up and walk there. But he wanted to do it that way because he wanted to feel what it was like to be in that character's position. Now you might think, well, Mads has got a point, you don't need to do it once the camera stops rolling. Well, if you know the nature of filmmaking, which is a very stop-start process where you might be filming one scene all day, a 2-minute scene might take 8 and 9 hours to film, and you're stopping and starting all the time. It's hard to stop and start character all the time. And actors that are staying in character during and in between the shots are basically trying to make life easier for themselves so they don't need to keep going in and out of character all the time. They're living it while they're doing it. Is that a bad thing? I mean, should we crucify these actors for using a bit of common sense? If I was in their position, you're getting paid millions, 10 million a film. Why not? Why not do everything you possibly could to make that character as good as it could be? Why are method actors ridiculed for actually doing things properly? And people like Mads Mikkelsen want to be, you know, having a good talking to, really. Sat down and told what method acting is, rather than coming out in the press and just absolutely slating it. And you don't know what it is. And this is part of the problem, is so many actors or people who are in the industry who think they know method acting know absolutely fuck all about method acting. Sick and tired of it. God, I've been in this industry nearly 30 years, and the amount of time that I've heard this bullshit over and over again, I'm getting sick of it. You know what? Before you slate something off, go and study it. Go and find out what it is before you slate it off. Then if you want to slate it off, at least you've got some credentials to do it. But to come out and say all these things against method acting when actually quite clearly from the comments you don't know what method acting is. Now, one other thing I'd like to make clear, this staying in character has not actually ever been laid down in method acting to be done. It's something that's arised out of the ethos of method acting, which is, you know what, if you're going to do the job, do it well, immerse yourself, be the best you can. You know, back in Stanislavski's day, nobody was staying in character the whole time. Strasberg's day, he never once told an actor to stay in character the whole time that they were shooting. But method actors, some method actors took that on board by themselves because they thought it's obvious, it's common bloody sense. You know, it makes sense in the film acting environment to do that. You don't have to do it. A lot of method actors don't do it. But if you do feel that you have to do it, should they be held to, you know, ridiculed for it? You know what? People like Mads should be ridiculed, right? They should be, you know, we should be standing up against this sort of thing as method actors and saying, look, Mads, we respect you. Don't respect your opinion right now because you haven't looked into it. You don't know the facts. Look into it first. So in this cage fight, Jared Leto completely annihilates Mads Mikkelsen, right? He's on the floor, doesn't have a leg to stand on, right? So that is my humble but accurate opinion on things, and I'm glad I got that off my chest. It needed to be done. Okay, speak to you later.